Welcome to our presentation in Making the Community a Better Place. Our City Ideas Lab topic is social isolation among older adults amidst the pandemic. This presentation will be introducing our topic, the issue, and recommendations, important factors, and a summary. The topic for the City Lab project is combating social isolation in adults within the community. Social isolation is a critical public health problem that has gained attention since the COVID-19 pandemic. This poses a threat to older adults as a result of physical distancing. The primary goals of this presentation is to provide an overview of the interconnectedness between social isolation in older adults, as well as introduce the solutions and recommendations. These provide older adults with a low-tech option to continue connecting with others. Our vision is to find solutions for social isolated older adults in the city of Oshawa who have limited access to technology and internet amidst COVID-19. On the right are a few global goals known as the Sustainable Development Goals that I believe relate to this particular public concern. This includes good health and well-being, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, partnerships for the goals, and the goal of having sustainable cities and communities for a better future. According to a few statistics, 50% of Canadians 80 years of age and older reported feeling lonely prior to COVID-19, and 1 in 5 Canadians with a disability did not use the internet. Social isolation is referred to as a lack of social connection and engagement with others that places a strain on maintaining supportive and meaningful relationships, which can result in loneliness. During COVID-19, many services rely on access to the internet. Developing countries and rural areas may have limited access. Long-term care facilities have limited devices available for their patients, and older adults may lack the dexterity to hold the device, or may not be technologically inclined. Many factors may result in social isolation in relation to technology. This can include age, education, and demographic characteristics. Internet use progressively declines as we age, and socio-demographic differences in exposure to ICT with individuals with diverse needs, interests, and skills. Health conditions such as cognitive deficits, vision problems, arthritis, and tremors may also be a barrier. The lack of familiarity, knowledge, guidance, or confidence, the cost of newer technology that could be more user-friendly, but also be too complex or difficult to navigate. There is a fear and perceived danger associated with it, such as viruses or over-reliance, or a stigma, discrimination in comparison with the younger population. This could all lead to a lack of social engagement and communication. Listed here are a few phone-based programs that may also be beneficial in beating social isolation. The Senior Centre Without Walls is created by the Older Adult Centres Association of Ontario. It is a free, interactive telephone program that connects older adults 50 years and older with physical disabilities. It can include informal conversations, brain-stimulating activities, or informative information. It involves a group conversation, a teleconference that is a welcoming, safe place to listen and learn from other participants, and enhances social connectedness with others. It offers community resources for those who are unable to leave their home, creates new connections and friendships. It most importantly facilitates and organizes remote community connections for those vulnerable populations who live in rural areas, such as Indigenous seniors. The Phone Pals program has trained volunteers who make weekly calls to older adults and are matched according to common interests, language, and culture. A Friendly Voice is a confidential line comprised of trained volunteers who call to chat, connect with others, and act as a source for other community programs. As of October 2020, 275 volunteers have been trained, 4,100 older adults have signed up, and there have been more than 5,000 telephone conversations. The ultimate goal is to try to avoid focusing on COVID-19 and the negative impacts. Lastly, the phone call outreach program is comprised of the participation by university students within the healthcare profession who volunteer to make weekly calls to long-term care facilities and members of the community. Topics can include fears, isolation, uncertainties, and identifying if there is a support system. The volunteers will also discuss family, friends, hobbies, and life experiences that they would like to share. There are also written-based programs with fellow older adults or other members of the community. This particular program includes the engagement of written letters from school-age children to older adults in the community. The goal is to share memories and make new friendships, and support services within the community will facilitate and monitor the connection between the student and the older adult. This can include sharing of pictures, song lyrics, and poems. This slide discusses smart toys and how they can contribute to the prevention of social isolation. A technological advanced robot is interactive and has the ability to communicate with humans by displaying behavioral expected norms, and it is medically approved by the Food and Drug Administration. This can include pseudo-animal robots, for example, in the form of a cat, dog, or baby harp seal. They can have sensors that allow responsive behavior based on the owner's commands or expressions. For example, a change in facial expressions. This can facilitate social connectedness and companionship for those with dementia, and it specifically has decreased agitation, reduced loneliness, and overall enhanced quality of life in individuals. They also have proven to alleviate stress, pain, and depressive symptoms. The Center for Addiction and Mental Health has implemented the Paro Pet, which is the seal, previously with positive effects on individuals with dementia and utilized grants. Important factors that need to be considered in the implementation of these programs include cost, the volunteers, supplies, space, and advertisement. For example, for telephone-based programs, this could include funding from the government, advertisement in local newspaper. Volunteers need to be trained or their community partners or a staff member. Supplies could be the telephone, landline, or cell phone. Space, it could be from the comfort of older adults' homes or volunteers' homes. And advertisement could include brochures or newspapers or local news television. In regard to written-based programs, the cost could include postage stamps, envelopes, paper, and pens. The volunteers could be trained or don't need to be trained. The supplies also, resources such as paper, postage stamps, envelopes, and pens. Space, comfort of the older adults' homes. And advertisement includes a newspaper, local news, television reports, and brochures from door to door. In regard to robotic pets, this includes funding from the government, as this is medically approved by the FDA, or application for different grants, delivery costs, and exchange rate costs. Volunteers are required to potentially deliver the robotic pet to those who are eligible. Supplies, the social robotic pet itself. Space, from the comfort of the older adults' homes. And this, for advertisement, can also include newspaper, local news, television reports, and volunteers to deliver brochures. Social isolation, loneliness, and depression were becoming more widely recognized as latent issues in the aging population. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the importance of social isolation as a public health problem. Our attention needs to be directed at options that are not just technology-based, recognizing diversity, and finding solutions for older adults with individualized needs during the pandemic. Here is a list of our contributors and their roles in this presentation. And here are our references. I hope you enjoyed our presentation.